Hello friends, today I want to answer the question, is flipping real estate contracts legal? Well, by the end of this video, you'll have a very clear understanding of the legal aspects when it comes to flipping real estate contracts, which in turn will help you navigate this investment strategy confidently and also helping you avoid potential pitfalls. Have you ever wondered if you could benefit from making money in real estate without actually ever owning any real estate? Are you curious about some of the legalities when it comes to flipping real estate contracts? Well, stay tuned as we cover the ins and outs of this intriguing strategy. By first explaining how to flip real estate contracts and the legalities behind it. Next, I'm going to share with you a real life strategy that I used doing this that made me tens of thousands of dollars. And finally, I'm going to detail out a strategy that you can start doing right now, utilizing this strategy with little to no money out of your pocket. If you're ready, let's go. So what does it mean to flip real estate contracts? First off, let's make sure that we understand what a real estate contract is. It is a multiple page legal binding contract that details out the specifics between a buyer and a seller regarding a piece of property that is being sold and purchased. And it includes such things as price, date of closing, inspection period, fixtures and furnitures, and tons more. Now, in order to flip a real estate contract, all these things that I mentioned above have to be agreed upon and signed by both parties. And there actually could be multiple addendums associated with this real estate contract before you arrive at the actual final real estate contract that's been signed and all the addendums have been signed. But once that's done, and if you utilize this exact verbiage that the person buying the property is, say, Aaron Peterson, and or assigns, you are now in a position to legally flip that real estate contract or assign it to somebody else. Now, why is that important to have that exact language? Well, when you put and or assigns, you are saying that you can add somebody by and, so Aaron Peterson and my partner, or you can and or assigns, I can assign it to anybody that I want. So I can take that document when I have that language in there that makes it very clear that I have the ability to add somebody or assign it to somebody. And when you do that, you are now in a legal position to do just that. This is how I do all of my real estate transactions, because I might even assign a property that I purchased in my name to one of my LLCs. And why would I do that? Well, LLC is a limited liability company that separates your personal liability from your business or real estate liability, which is a very important thing to do when you're purchasing real estate. So I love doing this, and this was advice given to me early on in my real estate investing career that I needed to put and or assigns, because there might be a chance that maybe I couldn't close on the property, but somebody I knew could, or I could add somebody else to the real estate contract. And matter of fact, this is how I made my very first money in real estate. And it wasn't something that I had planned to do. I actually kind of lucked into it. Because most people, when they make their money in real estate the first time, they're usually buying a piece of property and turning around and selling it at a higher price. And like I said, I kind of just happenstance fell into this situation. And I'll tell you exactly what happened. So I had some partners in my business that was completely unrelated to real estate, but we liked real estate and our business was going really well. And my partners and I, we said, hey, let's start looking at some real estate. So I found some real estate in a town that I knew was growing. There were some exciting things happening in this town, and there's a development going on that had a lot of fourplexes. And I mean a lot. There's probably 80 to 100 fourplexes in this development. So I went and I talked to the person that was doing the development and said, listen, I'd love to buy a handful of fourplexes. And he said, well, how many do you want to buy? I said 2 or 3 or 4. And he came back and said, listen, if you buy more than that, we'd be interested in giving you a discount because we're listing them at $274,000. Just telling you that price probably lets you know that it was a long time ago, over 20 years ago. And I went back to my partner and said, listen, what if we bought 8? We'd be able to get it for almost $20,000 below the retail purchase price that he's selling to everybody else. So my partners and I said, you know what, let's do it. Let's plan to do that. So I went back to the individual, and this is probably a week or 2 later, and said, listen, we'll take 8 of them. And we started drawing up the agreements for this. The seller came back to me and said, listen, we're in a situation that we've got to move on to the next phase of the project, and we need some additional money. So if you were able to buy 14, that is a spine of these fourplexes, 7 on one side, 7 on the other. We'd actually lower the price from even $255,000 down to $245,000. And so I thought, without even asking my partners, let's do it. If we could save $30,000 per fourplex by buying 14 of them, I said, let's go ahead and move forward. Now, when I went back to my partners, they said, listen, I don't think we can do 14. We can only do 8, but we'd love to get them at the lower price. And I thought, man, I might lose all of it here. So I went back to the person and said, listen, that might be challenging. And they said, you know what, if there's anything you can do, we need all 14 bought. It might not even make sense for us to sell 8 because if we can't sell all 14 of them, we really can't move on to the next phase of the project. So lucky for me, an individual that knew that we were doing that came to me and said, hey, I heard you're buying some 4plexes up there. I'd like to buy some. Could I buy 2 or 3 of them? And I came back and I said, listen, I've got 6 of them that I can sell for you. And they're retailing at $275,000. If you take 6, I will assign my contract to you at $255,000, which is $20,000 below what they're asking. He immediately jumped on it, said yes. And I was able to assign the contract of those 6 4plexes from the price I had it under contract for at $245,000 and assign it to him for $255,000, making $10,000 per contract that I was able to flip to this individual, making $60,000 in one of my first real estate deals ever. Now, I know that's not common, and I know I'd kind of lucked into it, but by doing some of the simple things, by and/or assigns and being able to negotiate a really good price, it gave me a ton of options when it came to flipping real estate contracts. Now, there is a strategy that I've seen just recently that I've started to engage in on the internet when it comes to flipping real estate contracts. And this isn't something new. Another term for this is called wholesaling. There's some groups out there that do this so well. This is their whole business model. This is just what they do, right? Finding properties here, getting them under contract and flipping that contract and making anywhere between $5, $10, $15, $20,000 per contract. And I know a group that's probably doing 2 of these a day. So they're making very good money. But here's a strategy that works right now. And this is technology and information that everybody has out there. So if you go to Zillow, I call this the Zillow strategy, and you're gonna go on Zillow and you're gonna search a decent sized city next to maybe a bigger city. So if you're gonna search Atlanta, maybe a city just outside of Atlanta, or Dallas, a city just around that area. And you're gonna filter on Zillow all the homes that are for sale by owner. Next, you're gonna filter by home types and you're gonna put in houses. You want single family homes. You don't want apartments, you don't want multifamily, you don't want land, you don't want lots, you want houses. And then you're gonna go to the More tab that's up there close to the other tabs you've just been clicking on, and you're gonna select by owner and other. And owner posted and coming soon are the only things that are checked in that drop down. Now you press apply, and you're gonna sort that by the newest homes that are freshest on the market. And you're gonna go to the ones that have been on the market the longest, right? So just to recap, you're looking for single family homes that are for sale by owner in a certain city, and you're gonna sort by newest. But you're gonna go to the very bottom of the page or the last page at the very bottom of that page, the ones that have been listed the longest. Maybe they've been on Zillow for 200 days, 400 days. I've seen some for 600 days on Zillow, almost 2 years, for sale by owner on Zillow. And you're gonna go to that owner, their phone number's on there, a lot of times their email is on there because it's being sold by owner, and you're gonna offer them a price that's 30 to 35% below what they're asking for the property. Now, why would they sell for such a low price? Well, many won't. You're gonna have to put a lot of offers out there, but some will because they've had it listed forever. And at this point, if they can move that piece of property, it might be a blessing to them just to get rid of it. But here's the thing, you don't have to have the money to get this property with this strategy. You're not gonna buy the property, you're just gonna get it under contract. And when you get it under contract and/or assigns, you are now in a position to flip that piece of property. So you negotiate it, you get it under contract, it was listed here, you've now got it under contract for here, this may be 30, 35% below, and you're gonna put in that contract, and there's standard contracts all over the internet, an inspection period, and you're gonna try and get that inspection period as long as you can, maybe 20 or 30 days out. Now, once you have it under contract, you're gonna do one of 2 things, and maybe both of these things. You're gonna go to Facebook, because hopefully at this point, you've joined a ton of Facebook groups that are all about flipping real estate, wholesaling, finding distressed properties. I'm on a ton of Facebook groups around real estate and the strategies of real estate, and I see this happening all the time on Facebook. You're gonna go to some of those sites and you're gonna say, listen, I have this property that I'm willing to assign to anybody at this price. Please, only interested parties message me directly. And I've seen on this probably anywhere from 10 to 100 comments on some of these scenarios. So that's one way maybe to turn around and flip this contract really quickly. Another way is going back to Zillow, open up a new browser, and at this point, you're gonna do something just a little bit different. You're gonna search the same place, but you're gonna search for places to rent, and you're gonna filter just homes. This will show you all the homes in that same areas that are now for rent, and the landlords that are renting these homes. And hopefully you find a landlord that has multiple homes in that area, and you're going to go to that landlord and say, listen, I have this home in your area. It's a few streets over, under contract, and I'd be willing to let it go at this price. And that price that you're willing to let it go at is maybe $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 above what you have it under contract for. And the landlord might say, well, I'm interested, but I want to go look at the property. And then that inspection period will allow them to go look at the property, and you contact the person that you have it under contract with and say, my partner is going to go over there and he's going to inspect the property. And all of a sudden you've connected that. And if he comes back and says, listen, I want to buy that piece of property, you now have the ability to flip that real estate contract to a landlord that already has homes and a strategy he is utilizing in that area. And it's one of the simplest, easiest, most basic ways to wholesale or flip real estate contracts. And it's something any of you can do out there in the market right now. Now, these are things that I've seen work really well in today's market when it comes to flipping real estate contracts, but I'd be interested in any strategies that you've seen that are maybe different than what I've been doing. And once again, just for stopping by, I have a free gift for you. Just go to aaronsfreetraining.com. It is a short-term rental calculator where you put in all the input, the purchase price, the income, the expenses, and it will actually spit out to you whether it's a good deal or not. And it's 100% free, no questions asked. And once again, thanks for stopping by. Have an amazing day.